Hey guys and dolls, this is Actually I Meant That, a podcast where we talk about the things that we feel that we might have minimized in the past that we are afraid to say out loud. We're not doing that anymore. It's 2025. Welcome. I'm Kat. I am a former people pleaser, recovering people pleaser, whatever you want to say, and I've done this many times in my life. And I'm excited about today's episode because we're talking about something that is also very close to home for me, and that is the art, if that's what you want to call it, of hyperindependence. Yeah, we're going to go there. This might be uncomfortable for some of you because there are so many people out there who are locked in this hyperindependence to the point where they can't even be in interdependent situations, whether it's with strangers or friends or family members. It's a challenge for so many of us because it's something that's been conditioned into us, like most things. And so we're going to talk all about this today and how we heal this, because the truth is you deserve to be able to receive things in life. You deserve to be able to say, you know what? I actually do need some help with that. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with needing help. And sometimes I tell myself, no, I can actually do all of this on my own. And it's like, Kat, STF you can't. So just accept the help. Just let people love you. Let people love you. And that's really what it comes down to, because we are robbing ourselves and other people of super beautifully intimate connection when we're just pushing them away from everything they try to help us with. So if you're someone who's ever whispered, I'm fine, while you're gritting your teeth, or you've worn your independence like a badge of honor, this episode's for you. You're going to love it. So I am one of those people who has been raised to believe and know that I can do hard things because I'm so strong and I'm so independent. But should I always have to do hard things on my own? Here we go again with the prison cells. Should I always be putting myself in a prison that I've built based on my own wounds? So my life has consisted of me saying that I can do hard things and I love doing hard things because I'm super strong and powerful and independent, because I was raised by a woman who is very much the same way. Maybe it's a Sagittarius thing. I don't know. It is. It actually is a Sagittarius thing. But the thing is, do I really want to do everything on my own? And I've had a lot of self-reflection about this exact subject so much in recent years, to the point where it's brought me to tears, because I have had this inability to receive literally anything from anyone, even if it's a stranger holding the door for me. I've had these moments where I can't even accept it. It's like, oh my God, that's too nice of you. I mean, what on earth? This is such a crippling, debilitating experience, hyperindependence. And I don't want any of us to have to suffer through this anymore, because we deserve more than that. And the people who are trying to love us and help us through this, they genuinely just want to give to you because they love you and they care about you, even if it's a stranger and they just, that's just how they operate and move throughout this life. You're also robbing them of that opportunity. Okay. It's like, it's not good for either party. So let's talk about the survival mode, the grind, the hustle, the I got this. How many times have I said I've got this in my life? I've dated people and I'm like, don't pick that up. I've got it. Like, don't build that whole system over there. I can do it. I've got it. I can build the desk. No, like, just let someone help you, because at the end of the day, this isn't strength. It's a trauma response. Like, I know everybody talks about trauma responses, and is everything a trauma response? No, my God, for the love of God. Not everything is a fucking trauma response. But if it becomes a pattern and it becomes so crippling and debilitating like it has been in my life, it's pretty safe to say, yeah, this is probably a trauma response. And it was learned and it was conditioned into you. So I want to talk about where this all started, how we can help ourselves navigate out of this situation, and just get to a place of better love for ourselves and better love with other people in interdependent relationships, not codependent, but interdependent. Okay. I know my independent guys and dolls out there are going to be like, no, I am not doing that. I am not going to be codependent. I'm not going to rely on anyone. I know that. I know. I'm aware. Trust me. I'm not going to get you there. We're not going to go there. Again, I'm not a psychologist or a therapist either. So please prioritize that over this podcast. I'm just a person who's lived these experiences, and I'm just speaking through the lens of my own. I will say that so many times throughout the course of the show. If something I say or anything I say hits, you can take it. You can put it in your pocket for the future. If it doesn't, just ditch it and throw it in the trash. It's okay. It doesn't align. That's all right. Not everything's going to. So here's the truth. Some of us do got this. We really do. I got it. Don't worry about it. We have it. Yeah, we do. But also, what I've learned in my adulthood, as this has been so debilitating and crippling to receive anything from literally anyone, is that a lot of this pattern is a trauma response. It's a legacy, and it is learned. And it's not actually as helpful as we make it out to be in this world of, oh, go boss babe, do it all on your own. You got this. Like, it's not actually that romantic. It can really, really suck dealing with it sometimes. So I want to start by just defining this term, hyperindependence. Hyperindependence is the belief that you can rely on yourself and that depending on others is unsafe, it's weak, and it's a burden. That's really fucked up. Now that I read it out loud, I'm like, oh my God, that's so messed up. There's a quote that says hyperindependence is not a personality trait. It's a trauma response. A lot of us, like I said, we wear this as a badge of honor. It's like, look at me doing all these things. And we forget that it's actually something that's learned. And it's not fun to talk about this because every time I think about this in my own life, I go back to that little girl that was crying in the closet, that was self-regulating, that was self-soothing. And I do have two parents who are still together to this day, but that doesn't mean that they are perfect people. You know, my parents provided in the way they knew how, they love in the way that they know how. And I appreciate that so very much. But there were also times in my life as a child where I really needed that emotional support. And instead of getting it, instead of people seeing me and validating me, I was told, quit your crying. You can handle this. Get over it. Stop crying, fix it, and get on with it. I never had space to soothe my feelings. And people these days, these adults out here on social media, especially the keyboard warriors, they're like, oh my God, everybody's so soft these days. Well, it's because a lot of us never had the opportunity to be soft when we were young. And maybe Jeff online who's saying these things, maybe Jeff, you had a mother who was able to, give you that, or a father who was able to give you that. But a lot of us, we didn't grow up with that because our parents didn't grow up with that either. This is very much ancestral. So for me, like I said, it runs in my bloodline. My mom, strongest woman I know. I will say this forever. My mom is so incredibly powerful and independent and empowered in herself in certain ways, like not in all ways. I mean, I'm not either, but my mom, she worked a full-time job. She went to school full-time. She was managing a relationship with my dad, a marriage, right? And she had kids in all different stages of life. I'm the youngest. My sister is 11 years older than I am. My brother's 7 years older. So imagine being a woman who is not only working in the hospital full-time, mind you, seeing just awful things on top of it. I remember her telling me the story about a bike accident that this young child had. And I think the kid was like 9, and she had to literally watch this child die. And I can't even fathom going through that emotionally, then having to come home, tend to the kids, and also your marriage, and just try to keep all of this afloat while getting your master's degree. Like that's just insane to me. And so my mom really raised, especially my sister and I, on this. You have to be independent. You cannot rely on anyone, especially a man, because basically men are pigs and they'll fail you, which is, I don't want to say that. My grandma always said that. My mom said, my grandma always said that. My grandma died when I was 3, but my mom's mom would always say, men are pigs. And it's like, yes, a lot of them are. We know this. Okay. If we're speaking in terms of the masses, yes, they are. And the healthy men out there will also agree that a lot of men are pigs. But my mom, she raised us in this environment. So it's not only me who's super hyper independent, who's the I got this girl. My sister is also the I got this girl. My sister is now, how old am I? 34. My sister is 45 now. And my sister even talks about it to this day. She's like, well, I can handle it. Like, I like to do everything. And a lot of this stems from needing control. Okay. That's so fun to realize, isn't it? Like, I'm like, wow, the number of times I've tried to control things and people, and it's just, oh God, it is not becoming of me by any means. And that's really where, we start to realize the trauma in all of this, like the not fun things about this. We glamorize this idea of independence and doing it all on our own. And you're so strong and powerful, and look at you go. And you didn't even need help. Wow. And it's like, no, I needed to cry, and I needed someone to be there for me, actually, because I was dying inside. And nobody was there. And it's because it's how I was raised to be, right? Like that's that little girl in the closet who was always like, I can cry this out on my own. I can do it. And it's like, imagine you're this 9-year-old child just crying all alone. And so many of you have that experience. And this is why this subject is so hard for me to talk about, because, when you're raised by someone who was doing so much, and it wasn't just my mom, it was my dad too. My dad was taught to self-soothe, I'm sure. I don't know my dad's childhood, and I don't know my mom's. I wasn't there in the flesh in person. But just seeing the behaviors and what they were teaching me growing up, I can imagine they went through very much the same things. This is why I have so much compassion, because They can only love me in the way they know how. Now, do they have the power of changing those things for themselves? Yes. I think today's generation is very different. My generation is very open to having these conversations. Look at me with a fucking microphone. I mean, I'm talking about this on the internet. And I think that's really powerful. I think we need these spaces. So, we were raised, like my mom was raised, for example, to never, she never had space. She never left space for herself to crumble. She never left that space. So in her eyes, that's just normal. That's what's safe. So she taught her children to basically do the same thing. My dad too. I don't want to just say it's all on my mom. We often refer to the woman. I want to make sure that both of my parents are being held accountable right now. Okay? And I love my parents dearly. But a lot of us wear it like a crown, and that crown gets really fucking heavy after a while. Like, let's take that thing off because it's actually a weight on our shoulders. So in 2022, there was a study about this from the Journal of Trauma Studies, and it found that women specifically who grew up in environments where emotional support was inconsistent were 68% more likely to develop self-isolating coping mechanisms, including hyperindependence. 68% more likely to develop that. And it just makes so much sense. I mean, when you don't have emotional consistency at home, you're not being validated, you're not being seen. There is such a difference in energy when it comes down to a parent sitting with you and being like, hey, what's wrong? You can talk about it. And my mom and dad did that every now and then. Like that, it wasn't like that didn't exist. But there were some times when I really, really needed to release, and I really needed to just be seen. And I was told, you're so sensitive. Oh my God, like you're so sensitive. How many parents in that generation, by the way, say that because their parents said the same thing to them? Again, these are all conditioned things, and it's things that we think are safe. In this generation, we don't see these things as safe anymore. We challenge the status quo. And I think that's really important because I feel spiritually that's what we came here to do. And I'm proud of us for doing that because this fucking sucks. I'm not even going to lie. I'm like, yeah, beam me up, bitch. It's time. I'm ready to go up. Where's ET? Where are you at? It's like, it's my time to go. And this hyper independence can manifest in the simplest of scenarios. Like if you're at the grocery store and someone's like, oh, I can help you carry that to your car. Well, first of all, as a woman, I'm like, you might murder me. So that's absolutely not happening. So there's a safety concern. I wrote down this example and I'm like, why did I write that down? I mean, listen, we're like constantly worried we're going to be the next headliner on Investigation Discovery. But if that does happen, you guys know to call Keith Morrison, the best storyteller in the business. If he doesn't report my way out, I'm not having it. I don't want it. So like literally I'll be carrying groceries. My arm will be falling off. And even if it's just in my complex, my apartment complex, I come up and carrying these groceries. My neighbor's like, oh, let me help you. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. My God, don't even worry about it. Meanwhile, I could have just been like, thank you so much. Now, I don't do this as much today. I have worked really hard at being able to receive help because a lot of hyper-independent people have a problem receiving. Even gifts. It's like, oh my God, how could you even think of me? That's crazy. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, you didn't have to do that. Oh, no, it's okay. Just say thank you. People want to do these things. It's like in their natural state of being to be this way for other people. And we're denying and robbing them of their own experience too. So it's like, let's just get to a place of being simpatico together and just say thanks. Just say thanks and let people carry it. And let people carry your burden sometimes. It's okay. Like, seriously, girl, let him carry the oat milk. You'll be fine. So with all of this in mind, how does hyperindependence affect our relationships? And it does. It very much does. It's like in huge ways too. And we often think, and this is the plot twist, that hyperindependence is control. Like we're in control of a situation. We've got it all together. We're doing it our way, my way or the highway. And if I'm doing it, then everything's going to be okay, right? No one's going to mess it up. But it's actually creating such a significant disconnection. And the only way that you will see this is if you step out of hyperindependence and you start letting people do things for you, right? Like you start collaborating. You choose collaboration over control. That's very hard to do. I know it firsthand. Oh my God, it comes up and it manifests in so many ways. And I'm going to talk about those too today. This comes up in dating. It comes up in interactions with strangers. It comes up in friendships. It comes up in travel. I'm someone who loves to travel, whether it's in Pennsylvania, across the country, all over the world. Like I love to travel. And I've noticed this comes up in that dynamic too. And it is absolutely wild. In romantic relationships, for example, in dating, it's really hard for hyper-independent people like myself to receive basically anything from their partners. It's a very big challenge because we spend our whole lives being the I got this girls, okay? Or the I got this guys. When a partner tries to provide for us, to give us something, it feels like we're indebted to them. It makes us really uncomfortable. And here's another thing that is so important on the romantic scape is that hyper independent people, when they're with someone who genuinely loves to provide, we sometimes confuse that act of love with someone trying to control us. Because the thing is, we're the ones trying to stay in control. And now it becomes this battle of control. No one is going to overstep my need for control. What are you talking about? Even though that person is really just trying to give out of love. This has shown up so much in my dating life throughout the course of my life too, where men have been like, you just cannot receive. Like, I'm trying to show you love. I'm trying to give you this. And you just keep pushing it away. Imagine trying to help someone and just trying to love them in that way, or give them gifts or plan things for them. And you're just like, no, I can do it. I got this. Like, you're literally just pushing their gift away and saying, no, I don't like that. Now, of course, there are some of us too who have been in very controlled environments throughout our lives to where we attracted these control freaks in dating. Okay. And I get that that's a trauma response as well. So that plays a part, but the person who is able to hold you will be emotionally mature enough to understand that, to support you through that. But that's another thing that a hyper independent person has a really hard time dealing with and navigating, because it's like, oh my God, look at them trying to support me emotionally. That never happened for me. So how am I going to be able to receive that now? It's all such a big challenge. It really is. In friendships, this can also show up. You don't ask for help. You struggle in silence. You say, everything's fine. Yeah, I'm fine. No, it's okay. Even though you're dying inside, you're like, no, actually, like, it really did upset me. And that is something that's very hard for me to do because I really don't love conflict. I do not like conflict. But the thing is, I was taught and raised to think that expressing my feelings would create conflict. But again, I have very loving friends in my life who genuinely want to be there. So why would I think that? It's all my own shit. They're not making me feel that way. It's my conditioning. It has nothing to do with my friends. So this is why I always talk about the self-awareness like in life. And I'm going to talk a lot about that on the show because it's on us at the end of the day to really put out the energy that we want to get back and heal these things, because our friends want to help us. Even in friendships, we can downplay our emotions. We disappear when we're struggling. Like I do that. I definitely have done that where I'm like, I bounce when I'm having issues, and my friends know too, especially my Cancerian friends. I have a lot of Cancerian friends, and by a lot, I mean like two. I have like two friends, but I love Cancers. I'm very much into the astrology aspect of life. It's very fascinating when you really start to learn about it. But my friends who are Cancerians, they just get me. They just get me so much. They're like, are you okay? They're psychic. I swear they're psychic. It is freaky. Like I'll have an emotional breakdown and my girlfriend's like, hi, I'm checking in. I'm like, what? I swear it has happened so many times with her where I'm like, I will literally be suffering and I'm not saying anything because I don't want to put that burden on my friends. But my friends don't see me as a burden. They love me and I love them and I would absolutely be there for them. Like the fact that we do this and like this is that disconnection we create because we were taught to self-cope. And like now it's like, okay, we got to get over this. Like we need to work together and heal collectively to have better relationships. Like we're doing it. I'm putting my foot down. 34 years old, going on 35. We're doing it. Okay. Another thing is with traveling. This is such a big deal. Like hyperindependence plays such a role in this too. Like you can over prepare, right? I do sometimes over prepare. You over plan. And when you're on the actual trip, you have to be in control. I know a lot of people who are like this, but I'm not personally super crazy with travel. Like I am a lot more collaborative when it comes to travel. In fact, I love when a man is able to just be like, hey, we're going here. I think that's very sexy. I'm like, yeah, daddy. Yeah, we are going there. I love that. And I will show up with my cute little bag. I love it. I love that. I'm very adaptable with travel. Sometimes I will find myself, the hyper independence coming up of like, oh, well, I'm just going off doing something fun on my own. Okay. I love doing that. My girlfriend's like, I need to put air tags on you at all times, or a leash preferably. And I get that, but I like to collaborate on travel. But some people I know are like, no, it is my way or it is the highway. That's it. Like, that's how this is working. And so I also want to talk about this dynamic of like the people who are in those situations. If you are someone who has to be in control all the time, a lot of times it's because you feel safe. And maybe that's the way that you grew up. I have met many, many people, so many that it just breaks my heart, who have been parentified at a very young age without even realizing it. But I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of times this happens with young boys whose mothers are divorced, where the father wasn't around, fatherless men, where the father was more concerned about other women or gambling or this, that, and the other. The father was more concerned about everything over his own child. And mom is working late night shifts at the hospital. She's not able to be there for her sons and her daughters and her children. And she just can't do all of that because she's trying to keep people alive. She's trying to make sure that everyone is alive and well, and there's no other support. And it's just really difficult to think about that because those kids at a very young age are taught to handle things while mom is gone. I have to be the parent. I have to be the provider. And I'm talking between the ages of 9 and 12. A lot of times this happens. And it starts. And I've met so many people with that exact scenario. And it is so sad to think about this because in adulthood, and the way that this manifests is that they have to be in control of everything. Well, I was always the one doing this. Why aren't you listening to what I do? And then they come off as very abusive or emotionally just dismissive, right? And I've been through this so many times, but I know what it actually is and I know what's actually happening. And it doesn't make it okay and it doesn't make it right because there's the self-accountability and there's self-responsibility that plays a part in this. And it happens so much that people not only try to find that place of control, but they push their partners away because of it. They just get very dismissive. I don't want to talk about that. I can do it. I'm managing this on my own. They might not even say that, but that's really what's happening. They were taught to be very self-sufficient from a very young age. So even opening up about things, it's just not what they know to do. It is not what's comfortable whatsoever. But it's also not comfortable in the long run to shut yourself down. In the long run, it's going to destroy your relationships if you don't heal it. I'm just going to be straight the fuck up. I don't know who needed to hear that, but someone did. Many people do. I needed to hear it at one point myself. Yay. So according to Psychology Today, over 70% of individuals who identify as hyperindependent report high conflict or emotional distance in romantic partnerships. So I want you guys to really think about this. I do, because so many of us have to digest this. What do you do when someone tries to help you? What's your response? Do you shut down? Do you push them away? Reflect on it. Really think about it. I know a lot of you have been listening to this episode and thinking all of these things probably if you're an overthinker like me. And I know a lot of you have probably already thought of this many times before, but maybe this is the sign to really actually do something about it because we tend to intellectualize things. Like when I go on the show, I do talk about these things, but really like do the homework, do the actual work that follows up because a lot of people will say, well, I went to therapy. It's like, okay, cool. I went to an energy healer. Oh, great. Like, so what did you do after? Did you apply it? Did you apply what you learned? I mean, we don't talk about the follow through because that's really where the magic happens. And it's not going to be fun. Switching your whole entire subconscious mind around that's fucking ridiculous. It is so painful, but it's so worth it. I always say it's so painful, but it's so worth it. So really think about what it's like for you in those situations when people are trying to express love. Are you opening space for them to do so, or are you pushing them away and creating an even trickier dynamic? Because that can be on us too. So how do we heal ourselves in this situation without losing ourselves? I think the biggest fear for a hyper independent person is that someone's going to take our freedom from us. Someone's going to try and control and dictate our lives. That is definitely mine, especially as a Sagittarius. I'm like, hail to the no. I know you are not putting me in a cage. I know you are not even going to attempt to do that. And it's true. No one is going to do that. And that's okay. So how do we stay independent, but also emotionally available to the point where we're not pushing people away all the time? Can't keep doing this. So what has helped me through this is number one, name it out loud. This is my trauma response talking. I feel safest when I'm in control. We have to identify this first. We have to acknowledge that this is actually what's happening in our bodies. Number two, practice asking, even for small things. Can you pick this up for me? Can we talk about something I'm feeling? Man, oh man, this has been such a struggle in relationships for me in the dating world. Oh my God, it's been so bad. This guy's like, he's like, why don't you just ask? I'm like, do you understand? I don't ask. Like, I don't ask. That's not something I do. And he has really challenged me to just ask. Just ask. Like, it's okay to ask. And I'm like, I don't want to ask though. I want you to like know what I'm thinking. And this is another thing that we women do a lot. I'm going to say women because we were taught, women especially, were really taught to just suppress all of our feelings to be more digestible for other people. And if you need to listen to more about this, you can go to episode 2, which is my episode on people pleasing and us being prisoners of our own lives because of it. But anyway, I digress. Women do this a lot, and women try to like beat around the bush and, oh, but you didn't think what I was actually thinking. No, just ask the question. Nobody can read your mind. So number 1, name it out loud. This is my problem. This is my trauma response. I'm actually being very hyper independent. I'm pushing someone away. Number 2, practice asking for the small things, even if it's like, can we talk about something I'm feeling? Okay, that might not feel very small, especially if you haven't started healing this, but it's important. Number 3, let good people show up. Like I said, you're robbing people of their own expression of love when you keep pushing them away. Just let them do it. And listen, if it becomes like a love bomby type of thing in a relationship sense or a dating sense, then you can determine like this isn't going to work for me, right? You can walk away from that because that's toxic. We don't want to participate in that. But if it's truly who they are, you have to allow them space to show that. Or you're never going to see the goodness in them. You're never going to see the fullness of them. Like, why would you want to rob them of that? And why would you want to rob yourself of that? Your hyper independence is getting in the way of your love life. Like, it's getting in the way. It really is. There's also this quote that I saw that was pretty powerful. It's self-sufficiency should be a choice, not a prison. If you want to be self-sufficient, you can choose into it, but don't imprison yourself to the point that you're doing this all the time. Like, this is just too much. There was another study, by the way, in the American Journal of Community Psychology that finds that those who practiced small acts of emotional vulnerability every day saw a 31% increase in perceived support from their communities just by being more emotionally available and vulnerable. Just by saying, you know what? I was having a really bad day and I really wanted to talk to you about it. I could use a shoulder to lean on. They saw a 31% increase in perceived support. What they see as support from another person. That's a really big deal. That's a huge connector. And that's why we're here. You know, I think COVID put us all in this even deeper, darker place of hyperindependence where it's like, well, I'm not going anywhere now. And I get it because I have a very deeply introverted side to myself, which surprises so many people. I'm like, no, that's actually like who I am. Like, I hate putting labels on myself. Like, I'm a human being. I think we're all very complex. I think these labels that we put on ourselves, these diagnoses, these terms, I think it's just the way that we navigate this life. We try to make sense of it. But at the end of the day, like, I like my quiet. I think that's what it comes down to. I just like quiet. I don't always want to be around people, but connecting with other people and putting myself in those situations, it's really giving me this beautiful experience that I was pushing away and rejecting before. And now that it's 2025, 5 years later, things have shifted and things have changed and there's more connection in my life. There's more love and it's a lot lighter in energy. It feels a lot better. I feel like I'm frolicking and not drowning. I like that for me. I like that for us. I think what you need to understand right now is that you don't have to do everything and you don't have to be everything for everyone, including yourself. I don't think a lot of you hear this on the daily. I know I need to hear that myself. A lot of the things that I say on this show are going to be things that I've said to myself to help me cope. And if this helps you and it tracks, then it's something to reflect on. For sure. What if you just tried collaboration over control? I wonder what that energy would feel like. Because when you're in a relationship or a friendship or a situation and dynamic where you're trying to control everything, that energy doesn't actually feel light. Like, really digest it, really feel it, really sink into it, really acknowledge it, be aware of it, be conscious of it. Now try collaboration. I find this so much too in my role as a CEO. I just recently hired a video editor that I worked with before. So there was some familiarity there. There was some comfort there. But oh my God, even still, I was like, but I want to do it, especially in a creative space as a full-time content creator. I'm like, I don't want to just give that over to someone because then I feel like I'm not in the driver's seat. This is my baby. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's like, Kat, these people are professional creatives. Like, they know what they're doing. In fact, they know a hell of a lot more than I do in a lot of places and spaces. So why would I not give them the opportunity to help me and bring their energy and their creative inspiration into the overall projects and just watch it flourish. And it does. It does. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm like, let it go. Just let it go, girl. Let it go. Let them do it. Let them do their work and be inspired by it. And it's been the best experience ever. I've loved it. Even my manager, Kira, in Canada. We love our Canadians. Kira, if you're listening to this, you are the best. You are the light of my life. You are amazing. Kira, I had a rocky thing with Kira in the beginning because I was in this hyper independent place. Like, it has to be this certain way. I don't like this. And it was like, I can't even believe, because I'm so protective of my business. I'm so protective of that. And navigating that with Kira, and she's such a graceful, beautiful human being. And I thank you so much for this. But I know Kira knew that that was rough too. And it was just something coming up for me. It was that hyper independence coming up again. And now we have this gorgeous relationship. She handles everything for me. She's literally my left arm. And I love the way that she manages things. She does it so much better than I could have ever done it. And I have no problem asking her for help. And I feel really proud of that because I'm giving her space to shine. Like, truly, she is it. She is the moment when it comes to managerial work. She is the moment. Like, that woman, I would trust her with my freaking life. I do. I trust her with my life. Love you, Kira. And I'm grateful for these opportunities because they do challenge the hyper independence and they're needed. So when this comes up in your life, and if it's coming up currently, think about it and sit with it. Just take this episode as your sign. Also, if this hit home for you, or if you know someone who's trapped in this kind of dynamic, open up to them, send this episode to them, share this information with them. It really might help. Again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a mental health counselor, but I've been through decades of this conditioning. And I want to talk about how we can break free. And I want you guys to feel more confident in being more vulnerable and emotionally available to the point where you're not controlling every little thing because it feels like safety, because it's not. Okay. So if you're ready to lay some of this down, even just a little bit, I'm with you. I'm so excited to keep these conversations going because this is a very healing space for me. Sometimes I just need to get these things off my chest and it's very cathartic, and I hope that you find it helpful too. If this does track, if it does hit, take it. Make sure you follow Actually I Meant That on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. It's Actually I Meant That across all platforms. New episodes come out every Thursday wherever you watch or listen to your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify. You can watch on YouTube, like I said before. I will see you guys on the next episode, and please take care of yourselves because you deserve it.